Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Are you coming to
Oh, they're voguing. We didn't have any. We were prepared. Look at this. Whip them with that catnip. Welcome, AfterBuzzers. Welcome to another Face Off After Show. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, or check us out on iTunes and SoundCloud. Don't forget to leave us a comment as well with all of your opinions and thoughts on the episode. And you can always tweet us too by using the hashtag ABTVFaceOff.
Face off.
We love interacting with everybody who watches the show, so thank you guys so much for commenting and tuning in, checking us out. Now allow me to introduce myself. I'm Alana Jordan. You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan because I'm clever. And today I'm joined by my amazing co-host,
Katniss Everdeen. Surprise! It's not everyone. It's me, Aaron. Yeah, Aaron.
Are you on Twitter, Aaron?
Oh, yes, I am on Twitter at AAMO Music.
you were also really pleased with your Katniss joke. I loved it. Away, literally.
That was beautiful. For anybody who's just listening, you should check out the YouTube feed for that because Aaron was wearing a lovely cat mask.
It's all glittery and gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
I am another one of the co-hosts here. I'm Emma Fyffe. You can find me on Twitter at Emma Fyffe because I'm also really creative.
And I'm Alexis Torres. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at atorres890.
And today we are super excited. I'm extra excited because we're joined by my front runner, Jamie Leodones. I love how that's very capital S.
I know.
I know.
I told Jamie when we came into the studio, so our setup here is that like we're all sitting at this table sort of above her and she's on a couch across from us. Chilling. And we're all wearing this like crazy Capitol Hunger Games makeup and Jamie is not. So I feel like she is a tribute and we are all the people in the Capitol, like her sponsors looking down upon her as she participates in the Hunger Games.
Impress me,
Which we kind of are. I mean, it's a competition show, so it kind of is.
Hey, at least there's nobody trying to random spear. So I'm glad about that.
I do think we just made a really good metaphor there.
Yes, we did.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Jamie.
I liked it. And that is episode 3, Let the Games Begin. Is this week's episode, all Hunger Games theme. We had Josh Hutcherson.
See?
You can't say
she can't say it either.
It's a hard name. But the challenge was to create this crazy hybrid predator plant animal creature, and kind of a cool thing that we had this week was we switched it up, broke up some members of the team, and we pulled people from the different challengers teams and then paired them up kind of randomly.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was nice. It was nice. And the first pair, well, I guess we'll talk kind of about everybody in general. This was kind of just a difficult challenge, I thought, because the notes that we got specifically from the beginning that Glenn said, don't make it too literal. Do not make a literal interpretation.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I mean, the biggest thing that they were really stressing was they're like, I don't want to see an animal with a plant on its head. So it's definitely like challenging, I think, to incorporate in a way that it like suggests the plant but doesn't scream like I am a Bulbasaur. You know what I mean?
That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, someone needs to make a Pokemon right now.
I mean, it basically happened.
I know. We'll get into that later.
And the challenge too, to not be like Bulbasaur. V pointed out she wanted it to be really scary.
Yeah.
No kind of cuddly, cute creatures for this one, which we've had in the past, and I've liked the cuddly, cute creatures.
I agree.
But so there were very specific guidelines for this one, and being kind of pulled from your comfort zone by being put with somebody who was on a team that before you were originally introduced, like that is the competitor kind of.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting concept overall. Let's talk about some of the people who were safe this week.
Okay.
The first kind of pair, I guess we'll dive into. Kelly and Daniel both on Team Anthony. So they kind of already had their bond beforehand. Which I guess is nice.
I feel like if you were paired with somebody who was on your team, you like automatically had each other's backs. You know, because I mean, the point of being on a team, at least I think, I don't know, Jamie, if maybe your experience was any different, that like the teams kind of bonded together and were like, hey, at least we're going to all get ourselves as a team to go as far as we possibly can.
That's pretty much it. I mean, being on Anthony's team, we all bonded together, and I mean, obviously Race's team and Laura's team, it was just, I mean, our coaches are always there for us. So.
Yeah. Well, and I liked seeing, too, this week, the involvement of the coaches with the other people on the other teams. You know, it wasn't like they were just coaching their people. It was like if it was somebody who was with Laura and someone who was with Anthony, then like both of them were sort of guiding that monster along. So I think it was probably nice as a contestant to get, you know, because you got to get Race's perspective, on what you were working on.
Yeah, and it was interesting because both Race and Anthony have different ways of coaching. So,
right.
You know, it was really cool to see how Race goes about it and how Anthony goes about it. So yeah.
And as per our Twitter shout out, we started incorporating some photos of the makeups.
Yay!
So
guys, we listen. We got your request.
When we say we care about your comments, we're not lying.
Exactly.
I read every one.
Out loud.
And cry myself to sleep.
Aaron actually does dramatic readings of them at bedtime.
Yeah.
That's nice.
With
How
this
do
wig.
you know? So they had the scorpion and the delphinium, and they both had bottom looks last week. So they really had to step up their game for this one, and I think they did a really good job.
Yeah.
It looks great. But they did have kind of difficulty we saw, as we always do on this show. The challenges, the time constraints are so intense.
Yeah.
And they spent so long sculpting that cowl that it was kind of just panic mode for everything else.
And I was surprised, actually, that Kelly went for such a complicated cowl this week after not having enough time to do the paint job she wanted to do last week. So, I mean, to me on the show, like, I adore Kelly, but she comes across as, like, a little manic. But in a good way. Just
a smidge.
You kind of have to be
Yeah,
for this show,
of
though,
course.
to get everything done, because if you're just chilling, then it's like, well, something's going down. They're going to see something, so make it something good. Anthony and Logan, too, I thought did a good job. They were also safe. They both were on Team Race again. Somebody who they didn't get pulled from their team. They had the warthog and the American pitcher plant.
Oh my god! Wait, was it Josh who was just like, yeah, it's very warthog-like? Is that what he said? And I was like, what?
Josh had some brilliant.
Warthoggy, Bobule, and there was a bunch of E's.
Coloristic?
Coloristic.
And I was just like, what are you? No.
Yeah, colorist.
Stop making up words. I get who you are, but stop it.
Since we are on the subject of Josh Hutcherson and Anthony, Jamie was like, well, you know, Anthony was really the only one that was like fangirl about Josh Hutcherson. And the camera immediately went to him and he was like
He had like the Hercules like face, and I thought it was the cutest thing in the world.
I mean, Jamie, was that some brilliant editing, or was that like some toned down editing?
That was like some toned down editing, because he was so excited to see Josh. So that's
adorable.
It was kind of interesting that we went from Rick Baker to Josh Hutcherson.
Okay, so I'm not the only one who was just like, wah, wah.
He's amazing. I think he's great. He's an amazing actor. And if there was an acting competition, I feel like that would be like, yes, I want your insight. You're very good at this. But I feel like with any kind of show like this where you bring in somebody who's not a makeup artist, then you kind of take everything they say with a grain of salt because they have kind of the same insight we do, which is, yes, that looks great. I don't know how you did that.
Yeah, totally.
That is magic to me. Like, I have no idea. I even watch you guys every week making these things, and I'm still like, I don't know. They freak out, and then something amazing happens. I freak out, and nothing happens. So, better than me.
Something about water and molding, and they can't mix.
And like lots of burlap.
Yes, yeah. I'm just like, I would hope something comes from my panic and tears.
Yeah.
That just like cracks and grows.
I did think that with this creation, the way that they chose to incorporate the plant was really smart.
Yes.
Because the plant, which is the American pitcher plant, is it looks kind of like strips of a dark red with like a pink pattern on it. And the way that they wanted to incorporate it, and I think they did rather successfully, was to have like bits of the warthog's head are kind of exposed, and it's supposed to be like exposed rotting flesh, which was gross, but really clever, and a good use of incorporating the plant without making this look like a warthog with flowers growing out of it.
Right. And Race's comment, too, when they were making everything, was to focus really on the anatomy of it, which tends to be a recurring theme throughout the show, is, you know, focus on the anatomy.
Well, because I feel like when they hit that point, you can just, I feel like it's extremely impressive because you're just sitting there going, yeah, okay, that actually does look atomically correct, because you can obviously tell when it's not, when like the horn is like way off or the face is like completely disfigured. You're like, okay.
I mean, Jamie, did you study anatomy extensively in your makeup training?
I mean, I have to know.
Like years before, I mean, I started out as a sculptor, so I did do like life sculpting and all that stuff. And that's the biggest thing, is that even when you create a monster, you have to have human anatomy forms in there. And that's what makes it. That's what makes it scary.
That's what makes it a makeup too, and not a mask.
And not a mask. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Brownie point.
We've seen the show.
We know what we're talking about. Pat on the back.
Which brings us to your makeup, which I thought was amazing.
Favorite.
I was straight out of the Hunger Games.
Yes. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was floored that this was not top looks, and I'm not just saying this because Jamie's sitting right in front of me, but like, the amount of detail on this is crazy. It is like a modern day Gilman on steroids and like blue hair gel or something.
It's great. Then you guys had the piranha and the blue thistle that you had to combine into this creature, which I think is just absolutely terrifying.
It's
like,
literally spot on. Like, as soon as they were like, oh, could you move your mouth? I was like, stop. Because you could just see just the teeth just moving in and out. And I was like, I can't. It's fantastic.
Well, and Jamie pointed out to me when we were watching it earlier, and even though I've like watched this episode 3 times, it was the first time I noticed it when you like pointed out the little detail of he actually has an extra row of teeth.
Yeah.
Like a piranha.
You could see it. That's why that's my favorite part of the whole thing. Besides, obviously the things that will be haunting my nightmares, his eyes. But I just love that you actually thought about like, oh, piranhas have rows of teeth. Let's throw them in there. And I was like,
and that's the great thing with working with Rob, is that both of us are very detail oriented when it comes to it. So, like I told you guys before, I mean, he wanted to dedicate this to his wife, so it came from the heart from him, and I was on board with that. His wife Rhonda is the sweetest one in the world. We all, like the cast, we all love her. The coaches cast, we all love her. So it was a great makeup.
Yeah. And Rob was Team Race, and you, of course, Team Anthony. So was that weird having the crossover? Last week we were not...
It's a competition. Like, yes, we are teams, but it's still an individual competition.
That is true.
So we do have to work together. It's like any other season of Face Off. You're now teamed up with somebody else. So, I mean, if you look at it in that perspective, it's cool to get the input of another coach. So you get, like, another set of eyes to it. So, I mean, as much as it is a team competition for all of us, like Team Anthony, Team Race, and Team Laura, we are still competing against each other because essentially one of us is going to go home every week, not the coaches, you know.
Which is sad.
Yeah, I
know. That's the part that breaks my heart.
I did want to ask too, is like in the whole creation process when you were sketching out and you guys were designing together, is this exactly what you had envisioned, or did it alter just from the first kind of sketches? Because I know we only see so much.
Yeah.
Just kind of, hey, this is what we want to do, and we're like, wow, that's cool. And then sometimes it changes completely. Sometimes it looks exactly the same. So how is it for you?
For the most part, I mean, the face was exactly what we wanted it to be. The cowl changed here and there. It's because once you start getting your hands on clay and seeing how these, you know, Rob and I have two different methods, and seeing how they combine together, and fixing it, you know, and making it work, it's one of those things that overall and the silhouette of it, that's what we wanted, but the small details and adding like the pods from the thistle and all that stuff, and getting the input from the coaches and the input from Mr. Westmore, like we changed a little bit of it, added more detail, and then Rob added some great sculptural stuff in there too, the really, really high details around the jawline and all that stuff, like the pod-like stuff. So as much as it is the silhouette we wanted, the small details change.
Were you ever doing some of those small details and you were like, I'm so badass?
You know, I do that every day. I'm like, this is awesome.
You're like, I'm on the right track.
I mean, because the gills are all sculpted and they just look amazing.
Yes.
Like it looks like it's part of his skin, not like a mask.
And as Josh said, I would run from it. Granted, it's because it's in the script, but I would run
Aaron's
from
just
it.
like, please stop, please stop.
Or if you were Josh Hutcherson in the Hunger Games, your mutation would be a stick with a green point on the end of it.
That's literally what it would have been.
I would like to share a comment from one of the other makeup artists, Anthony, Josh Hutcherson fangirl, who tweeted at Jamie that your makeup was so crazy good.
Aw, thank you, Anthony.
He's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like there's love even after the show. That's what's so awesome about Face Off is there's love all the time and just support. It's really fantastic.
Yeah. And our cast is really close. Like, we're still friends with everybody. We still talk. We still message each other. And it's interesting because I'm not sure if every season's like that, but we're all pretty close. We still keep in contact with each other and our coaches. So it's pretty cool.
I love that. Unfortunately, there were bottom looks, as always.
Yeah.
We all make the same sad noise every time.
Because the thing is, for me, is that, like, I felt like this week, too, that, like, the bottom looks were not, they weren't even that bad. You know? Like, it's like, I think that Glenn Hetrick actually said this week, there were no bad makeups this week. There just were some that weren't as good as the others.
I agree. Definitely. This week had some amazing makeups. Julian, Team Laura, Adam, Team Race. They had the bat and the sugar brush protea. How do you say that?
I think protea.
Yeah. I'm not a botanist. I have never heard of any of these plants. I know, like, flower.
I love how you had to point at your own flower.
Really, none of these, Elena? Like, you've never heard of a cactus before?
I called it the desert spiky thing that you can drink in an emergency. It's a long name. Perfect. That's actually the scientific full name for it. So they dumbed it down a little bit and called it a cactus.
Thank you, Elena.
But yeah, the Batachoke. Batachoke.
I just love his name.
It's a Pokemon.
It's a Pokemon.
I love it.
And that, I think, was the
happy.
problem, and that's what Glenn said, was this is exactly what we said don't do. Don't do a literal interpretation. V and her zingers get me every
time. She's
But when
so good at that.
She said it looks like a psychedelic artichoke with a bat face.
Yep.
I was like, V, you win my heart. Just
The Batichoke.
I would have never thought about that until I really looked at the top of that head and I was like, oh my god, I'm hungry. What? So I was like, I could really go for an artichoke dip right now.
I sort of love him though because like he is a Pokemon.
That's
Like
literally
that's
what
the
it
thing
is.
is that like the work done on the Batichoke itself, like the sculpting.
I love what we're just calling
That's
it.
what it is. That's what
It's
it is.
Batichoke. It's a Batichoke.
Batichoke.
We've officially
It's true.
season
Got
8.
confirmation from
Yeah, Adam and
Sammy.
Julian. They've dubbed it Batichoke.
They have dubbed it
so
Batichoke.
we're
Actually,
okay.
Adam did a very cute sketch of this as an actual Pokemon.
Yes.
Batichoke.
It's not his final evolution, so it's okay.
I need Adam to draw those out. I need to see all the evolutions. It's gonna be great.
I feel like the next evolution is going to be the creature from Jeepers Creepers.
I want that so bad.
So this is the before Jeepers Creepers existed.
I went to like a dark place. I was like the final evolution would just be spinach and artichoke dip. So I was like, oh, that was really dark.
He's doing like a Pokemon standstill.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I love him because I feel like the sculpting detail on him is really
Yes.
nice. He really has a bat face. It's just, they went for a very sort of neon paint job, you know?
Sorry,
it's okay.
from
Dropped
the
my phone
booth,
on the
looking at these pictures from the booth, guys, I see this one. I'm like, the makeup looks good. It's just I don't see that outfit with like.
right?
Thank you, Steven. I didn't even think about that.
It looks like just a creature Ryan Reynolds would kill in Blade Trinity. Like, that's all it looks like.
That's
That's the
amazing.
thing is it's got the face of one of the terrifying creatures and the outfit of the tribute it's supposed to change.
It's true.
Or a tribute probably rubbed up against on something and it just changed into that. And that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what I could think of. Like,
I also feel like this could be a Power Rangers monster. You know?
yes.
There you go.
Yes, I also agree. We should just make just sketches.
The weird thing is I want it as a doll. Just to have.
Little action figure, cute little plushie doll.
For the scary makeup challenge, it's probably not the best thing to say is, I want this as a doll to sit on my bed. But I do. I like it.
I mean, you know.
Only without the knee pads and the weaponry.
Just the head.
It's true. No, that's.
It would be a little artichoke head, but it'd be silver.
Like a bobblehead.
You can make them into those little pop dolls. The little pop dolls.
Yeah.
Merchandising, guys.
So Julian and Adam get on that.
Yeah.
Little top dolls.
Little pop dolls.
We're coming up with some $1 million.
I'm really feeling like we can merchandise the heck out of Batichoke.
Out of your work, we will take credit.
We just want to see some residuals, guys. That's all I'm saying. I think it'd be really cute little face-off little monsters for pop dolls. Guys,
Agree.
get on it.
Yes.
It would be really cute.
Oh, it would be a really cute Funko figure.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you heard it here. That's all you need to know.
The fans are gonna have like false something like Jamie's making.
I'll be like, wait, what?
Yeah, they're gonna start harassing you like,
Yeah.
where are our action figures?
Come on, Jamie, you're good at sculpting.
Sure. Yeah. So make sure everybody tweet your comments at Jamie. Say, please make my action figure and have it sent in.
Yeah, I want it next to my baby
Immediately.
Groot and have Batichoke.
Oh my god. Hashtag Batichoke.
Yes.
Hashtag Batichoke.
Hashtag ABTV face off.
Yes. Thank you for throwing that in there.
And unfortunately, the losing team was Stephanie and Alex. Stephanie also shed the first tear of the season.
Yes.
It wasn't
No.
until episode 3.
Emily shed the first tear in episode.
That's
right.
It's true.
I totally forgot about that.
Jamie just told you to shut your mouth. She said, sit down and shut your mouth.
She was just like, got it.
No, it's because we noticed. We noticed Emily was crying.
Oh,
And
poor
also
baby.
because I told everybody to harass you on Twitter. So you're like, and you're wrong. So
It's okay.
I guess the second tier. But it breaks my heart when I say, and it was such like a brave, like Katniss tear too. It was
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, that was it. Little lip tremor. Yeah.
it was sad. And
I know.
she did not go home. Alan ended up going home.
Oh, I'm thoroughly
broke my heart.
upset. I mean, okay, well, let's talk about this makeup first before we get into that, because
Well,
I really want to know your thoughts.
Before we even get into the makeup, just look at the outfit. That's the one thing that I'm just like.
I feel like he was kind of left out. He was like the last guy in gym class who didn't get to get all the gear that he wanted for dodgeball.
They went to the bin and they're like, oh, here's the karate outfit.
There you go. Bye. Have fun.
Aww.
Have fun with the other kids. Go.
That's the thing. I feel like the reason that Alan went home is because the venom sacs they were trying to pull off just didn't work.
And I think that what they needed to do in order to make it clear that they were venom sacs is have like an indentation in the cheek and make that like a separate kind of piece and paint it a different color, because the idea was really cool. It was a really cool idea, which I assume was inspired by their plant, the coxcomb. And it just, but because they didn't differentiate between like, here is his jawline and here are the venom sacs on the outside of it, he just looks like he has puffy jowls.
Yeah, because until they mentioned it, I had no idea what was going on with his face, because it's all one color. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because in my brain I was trying to think, how would they done that differently to make it show like, okay, these are the venom sacs, this is your face, and then the rest of the cowl.
I was almost even thinking like if they even made it clear film so you look like it's venom sacs.
That would have been a good idea.
Like, I don't know.
I mean,
they of course had the thorny dragon.
Jamie's like,
Jamie's like, how can I improve upon this?
How can I improve makeup?
That's a good idea. I never thought about that. Or like figuring out some sort of contraption where it looks like there's actual liquid like inside of it. Like I think that would have been really cool. I mean, I'm not saying to put like a water balloon in there, but I mean, something that's like, some like sort of plastic and like put something in it so that it just looks like there's stuff coming out.
I mean, it was confusing just because, according to Josh Hutcherson, it was Bobule. So
I hate that word.
So Bobule, I don't know what he said, but
Bobular.
We confused Josh Hutcherson, so it needed to be clearer.
Well, they had some issues with time as
Yes,
well,
they did.
because when they were molding, they had to fix the broken patches and the horns and everything, which anytime that you run into those time constraints, because it would be great to add in all of these elements that we, of course, as non-makeup artists, can do. Why didn't you just do this? Duh.
We're such jerks.
But you throw in that time constraint and you say, maybe this didn't work out fully the way that we wanted it to. It was supposed to be this inspired by the thorny dragon and the coxcomb together, and it just kind of came across bobular. Yeah, it was
Bobular.
You're going to be using that word a lot, watch.
because it didn't really look like either inspiration. It just kind of looked like, which I know it's not supposed to be a literal interpretation, but it's supposed to be inspired by enough that you go, oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because I couldn't see anything that they were inspired from in this piece. No offense to you guys, because you guys are awesome, but especially you, Alan.
The great thing about this is that, like you said, the time constraints we have, you're under a stressful situation, but they had a clear direction of where they wanted to go, and you can't second guess yourself at this time.
True.
We're in such a stressful situation that you just have to go. You can't second guess yourself, and you just have to go.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because then you have people that like second guess themselves and then either make exact decisions in that moment, like Kelly and Regina, where they just like switch switch jobs. I mean, Emily. Sorry, I don't know why I said Kelly. I just keep remembering her. Emily. But yeah, and then they switch their tasks, and this. I mean, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. It led to a loss for Team Anthony.
I know.
Alan was gone.
I was really hoping to see what more Alan can do, because I was kind of, impressed. Not impressed, but like I really liked his story from the first episode and just all of his work and stuff. And I just wanted to see more from him.
I loved Alan, not just because it's my name minus an A. There you go. That's part of it. But it's also because he's just immensely talented.
Yeah.
I will say though about the makeup though, when you said Batichoke made you hungry, the other one made me hungry because it looked like it had just like annihilated some Hershey syrup when it was
I love how you said
down.
that when we were watching that. I was like, oh wow, Hershey sound really good. Damn you, Elena.
Just See, we take your makeups and we apply them to food.
I know. Don't worry.
It happens.
It happens
Whenever
a
the
lot.
food challenge happens, we just lose our minds.
Yeah.
Well, like, Anthony season 4, they had that candy challenge, and you're just like, there's all this candy.
Yes.
I forgot about that. I was like, I can't watch
just wanted
this.
everything.
I need to eat first and then watch this. It's like watching the Food Network.
I was really glad, though, that though things were looking pretty rough for Emily and Regina at the beginning, that they worked it out.
They
Yeah.
did.
This makeup turned out amazing.
Emily was Team Laura, Regina Team Ray. So again, we had the kind of add-in, which is that cool element, and they had the hyena and the shampoo ginger.
Yes.
Something else I had never heard of.
This is the only plant that I was like, really?
I was like, I know there's ginger in my shampoo. I didn't know that was a separate thing.
Or gingers sometimes use shampoo, but I'm just really.
That's what I need right now.
I feel like you were looking at me like, Aaron, don't go there.
I had no idea where you were going.
Well, and to me, the shampoo ginger looked kind of like a very fancy pine cone. It was definitely not a plant I was familiar with.
Okay. Yeah. I think
Call
about
it
that.
the fancy pine cone.
Yeah.
So I think they did a great job of incorporating the fancy pine cone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of fancy, their model.
Oh,
We're saying we have a dance
perfect.
background
she's
because
fantastic.
Yeah.
I love her. She's
I
a
think-
fantastic model.
Did you get I mean, we don't want any spoilers or anything, but did you get a chance to work with her at all personally?
Yeah, she's a great
Okay.
model.
Awesome.
I'm so excited.
That's all I needed to know.
which we were talking. This makeup was top looks, and they spent the whole time thinking they were going to be bottom because again they ran into that time constraint, and then just did a complete 180.
Yeah.
And said, this isn't working out. Let's actually just switch roles entirely as well. And I was making the face, you make the face, I'll make the and just that was incredible how they were able to make this when they were already so behind.
Well, and it's like Race said at the point that they were like, this isn't working out. He basically said, from this point on, every decision they make has got to be perfect or they will be in trouble. And I applaud them for just going for it.
I thought having the dyed hemp as hair, the hemp strands, so smart. It looked amazing. I never would have thought of that.
No.
Yeah.
And in a million years, of course, why would I be doing that? But it's amazing. It really came across when they had the stark contrast to their original design where Emily had that really fierce face and then Regina was doing like the flowers and it was, ooh, is this gonna work?
Yeah.
And then just saying, no, it's not entirely. And then bringing in the scales of the plant, really making it a lot scalier instead of having the kind of flowery element.
I just felt after looking at the fact that they switched last minute, I feel like it was just enough balance because they already knew in the beginning, they're like, okay, this isn't working, we're going too strong in the things that we know, let's flip it. And then it just kind of made this immediate balance of just everything. And that's why I think it just worked out really well because they were just able to just get on top of it. And I really love that.
And the thing that I didn't even think of until you really brought it up is that basically in switching roles, they also switched which element they were incorporating because originally they were doing like a hyena face and instead they incorporated the plant into the face.
Yep.
Which was extremely successful.
Genius, but they had the hyena silhouette,
Yes.
which was such a great way to say here is an inspiration that's not a literal translation because that is that fine line of trying to figure it out. And I thought they did a great job of just completely rocking it out and getting exactly the look that they might not have originally intended, but came out even better than they could have initially imagined.
Yeah, pretty much.
What did you like most about the piece?
That? Oh,
Yeah.
you know what I liked about it is that I was sitting by them the whole time they were doing this. And the fact that day one, they didn't have anything, and they were stressing out, and day two came along, and all of a sudden they just, like, my favorite part was seeing it all come together for them. Like, honestly, it's having these two absolutely creative people, Emily and Regina, just come together and figure something out and just go with the idea. And the makeup, I mean, when it went on stage, because the thing is, we don't see the makeups because we're doing our makeup, you know? So when it came on stage, it was pretty cool, just to see it all finally come together.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was my favorite part in it.
It has to be nice, too, to spend the whole time going, oh, man, I hope I don't go home. And then they go, your top looks.
Yeah.
Oh. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was shooting really low. I just wanted to.
I was actually talking to Regina a little bit about this makeup in this episode, and she told me that as she was getting more and more frustrated, her reaction was, I would rather be bottom looks and go home than be safe with this makeup.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember her saying that.
Yeah, which I would not, but
I was like, wow, I am nowhere in that mindset, but okay.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to what Jamie was saying. You have these two incredibly creative, visionary, hungry people, and I think it would be a disappointment after completely changing what they were doing and going a crazy different direction to have just been safe. So
Okay.
which I still think you should have been top look.
You know,
Same.
whatever.
I agree. We've already said it. We have to keep saying it. But we will. And then the winning group, of course, we had Ben from Team Anthony and Darla from Team Laura. They had the ram and the cactus, the two that I know.
I'm sorry, don't you mean the spiny desert plant?
The spiny desert plant that you can drink if you have to an emergency. Yes, that is the Latin name.
Elena, I love you. That's all I'm going to say. No more, no less.
You're the only one. Karen.
I think
He's like, I agree. I do not love you.
Yeah, I agree. I do not at all.
But we did love this look.
Yes. No, we did.
In fact, Neville actually said this was one of his favorites in Face-Off history, which
I know.
That is a huge
that is a huge
ordeal.
compliment.
Yeah.
Just to say, I feel like I do hear Neville say that every season.
God, I hope not. Great, now I'm going to make it my mission to go back and watch every single Face-Off episode, all 8 seasons, and see if he says it.
I remember last season there was one that looked like him, and it was kind of this goth kind of you guys remember?
Yeah, wait a minute.
And
Yeah,
he really loved that one too. But I mean, it's still a fantastic piece.
Yes, I remember that one very vividly, and I think he actually did say that.
Neville, you liar.
But I will say that was before he saw this one.
True.
You know,
It's true.
You can always love something else that comes along as well. Life lessons.
There you go. Life lessons from Elena.
Mr. Westmore didn't have really any feedback for them either, though. So he was just like, this is great. This is brilliant.
I thought it was a great adaptation. I was like, I would have never thought to do that. So
I really enjoyed the details on the cowl on this creature.
Me too.
From the front, I thought it looked a little bit like a seashell with spines. But from the back, no, I'm just saying, it's a very shell-like shape, and the way they painted it looks like a seashell, too.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's bad, it's good, it just kind of looks like a seashell. And then when you turn it around, Ben made incredible use of all the negative space in the back. That was where you saw the separation of the ram horns, and it was very, very cool.
And then they also had that kind of panic moment that you get when they're, speaking of the cowl, too big for their model, and then losing that paint time, cutting it down to make it fit. So it does become a challenge where you say, am I going to have enough time to fully pull off this look that I wanted, because this snag got thrown into the mix.
Totally.
And they did a great job of handling the situation and cranking out a really
I
great
remember
piece.
Watching them put it on, and I remember everyone's reaction. Because, you could tell automatically that it was way too big for this poor model's face and head.
And I thought that Anthony, in this case, Coach Anthony, not contestant Anthony, to differentiate between them, he was involved in their application from what we could see and what they edited together in the footage that we actually saw on TV. And I thought that what he was doing to help them was brilliant. They were clearly cutting pieces in and laying them in and smushing them into his face and making, and it ended up turning out incredibly well. Considering that it was a giant mess when they first started.
And it led to a huge life moment, too. For Ben, because he proposed to his girlfriend.
Yay! That's so cute.
Photos.
Congratulations.
She said yes.
She did.
If anybody was worried about that.
Yes. Congratulations, Ben and Stephanie.
Yes. Congratulations.
And congratulations on winning. Too.
Yeah.
Getting married also, is nice, but you won an episode. So that's so exciting.
Yeah. And I think that the work he did on that cowl was really impressive. The fact that they made it work when they did have all of those issues. It's kind of like with the Arachnid character the last time around. Ultimately, that isn't what they won for, but Logan did do a lot of really impressive patchwork on a cowl that had some issues. Mm-hmm. So, way to make it work.
Yeah, it was
I agree.
Great job.
Yeah.
I think from everybody.
Yeah.
Which I just have to ask, how overall your experience on Face Off, just how has it really changed your life? Because I know you've been doing makeup for like 10 years beforehand.
Yeah, I started out in theater makeup, and then I did the past couple, like 2 or 3 years, I've been doing special effects makeup. So under stressful situations, like after being on the show, you just let it go and you make it work.
Yeah.
It's essentially you just make it work. You're not under this highly stressful situation anymore. If something doesn't come out right, then you'll just fix it, So
Right.
that's the biggest thing that's changed.
Yeah.
Is like you don't stress out about the little things anymore.
Well, because you don't I think that being on Face Off probably teaches you to, you just have to adapt.
Exactly.
But because in Face Off, you are on the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is that sort of threat, I guess, looming over your head of, if I don't make this work, I'm going to get eliminated. And I think that, moving into your real life probably and working professionally as a makeup artist, it's like, oh, I no longer have that threat over my head, but you still have that kind of work ethic of, and the problem-solving skills.
Yeah, that's the biggest one, is you have the problem-solving skills. I mean, obviously in the real world, the time constraints aren't there.
Right.
But, so you have time to figure it out. You have time to consult with other people, other artists, and figure out problems, but it doesn't phase you as much as it would other people.
Yeah.
So it's great.
I can see that.
You just kick its butt.
Yeah, pretty much.
Black belt.
Yeah, like the black belt I am. Yeah.
Jamie's a black belt, if anybody didn't know.
I am.
We should totally spar. Sorry.
After the show, the games, round 2.
Yes! Awesome. Take off this mask. Oh.
AfterBuzz Live MMA.
I mean, we could do it.
I feel like it's gonna be me going, Jamie, no!
I will just be hiding in the corner. I will not participate because I know I will lose. But I love when you were talking about the kind of face-off family too, and how everybody has that camaraderie. I know that you had you worked with season 4 Chris.
Yeah, Chris was actually my special effects teacher. So when I saw Anthony up there, I was like, we can be friends. Friends if you want. But, a lot of the contestants, former contestants, went to have either graduated or taught at the school that I'm at, so that I work at right now.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Are you still at Cinema Makeup School? Or?
I still am there.
Okay.
I'm still there for a couple more months.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. It seems like a lot of the contestants, like we were talking to Regina, how everybody just kind of has inspiration or has worked with somebody else that has been on Face Off that says, this show's awesome. So
yeah, it was. I mean, to be perfectly honest, when I first auditioned, I wasn't sure if I really wanted. I mean, we everybody second guesses themselves.
Yeah.
To be on it or whatnot, but talking to Rod Maxwell, talking to Chris, talking to Wayne, talking to all of them, saying this is just a once in a lifetime experience. Go and take it.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah. And it's something that, we've said many, many times that, what is great about Face Off is it's even if you get eliminated pretty early on, it's not like you're never going to work in makeup again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you'll see it as you watch all of us. All of us have, we're very passionate about our work. And we make it, even if when there's not work, we make work for ourselves. So we are... we endure through all of this.
You adapt, like
we
you
adapt.
learned.
We learn, like the Hunger Games.
I just say it like that every time.
No, she has to. If she doesn't do it, it just.
But she also looks at the camera.
No, it's the best.
I want people to know I'm intense.
If someone can be out there and make a GIF, Elena's going the Hunger Games every it would make me happy.
But for us, it was just the Hungry Games because everything made us hungry.
Dinner sounds really good right now.
It's like your ginger joke. It's not bad, but we laugh. Speaking of work and getting to work, you worked with Yaya Han for WonderCon
I did.
2014.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I worked with her at WonderCon. It was in collaboration with a scholarship the school was doing, so I got to make her into a scroll.
I remember that.
From Secret Invasion. Yeah, Scroll Storm. A lot of people are really confused about it because, it's... If you don't read comics, you don't understand it. So, but yeah, Scroll Storm. And it was really fun to work with her. And, Hero's a cosplay.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know who Yaya Han is, she's an amazing cosplayer.
Look her
She's
up. Look
great.
her up.
Yeah, get on Google right now.
Yeah.
Not right now, wait until the show.
Finish watching our show first.
I've definitely gone to
Google.
And speaking of, we do need to wrap this show up fairly soon here. So...
AfterBuzz TV News.
News and gossip.
We have some news and gossip, yeah. So, if you follow us on Twitter, which you should, then you will already know that we had the opportunity to hang out with some of the contestants at Universal Studios, where Emma and I both were. Yeah, and
I wasn't there, but I saw pictures.
saw that picture and responded with, "I wish I was there," to which we respond, "You will be. We will take you as well." So that's us getting tramtastic. Hanging out with Adam and Regina.
Yeah, and then Regina was nice enough to invite me to come watch Face Off on Tuesday night with the cast over in Burbank, and that was when Jamie and I brought our friendship into the real world. Before that, it was confined to Twitter.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to actually meet her in person, and that was when she agreed to come be on our show today.
And remember, if you're a first timer or if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV.
Poncho-tastic.
That's us wearing some ponchos on the Jurassic Park ride.
Yeah.
It's good times.
I love
department.
Regina's faces that she makes every time we take a photo because she's like, I don't smile, I just make weird faces. I'm like, you're the best person ever.
So yeah, be sure to check us out. Quick shout out to some of our commenters. I just wanted to say Dominic Harms, who also I saw was watching live. What up? We like you a lot because you said nice things about us. So that's all it takes. He said that we were all really funny and said that he wanted some essence of Elena, which I don't know what that is, but I approve. So thank you. And be sure to give us your comments and also check us out on iTunes or on SoundCloud. Just search AfterBuzz TV and be sure to tweet us whenever you tweet us. #ABTVFaceOff as well. Because we talked about a lot tonight, but there's always more to talk about. We love interacting with everybody off air as well. You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan and on Instagram at that Alana Jordan girl.
You can find me, I'm Aaron, but at AAMO Music on Twitter and to Instagram _AAMO Music.
And you can find me, Emma Fyffe, on Twitter at Emma Fyffe, on Instagram at Emma Fyffe. And if you really love listening to the sound of my voice, you should also check out my Sailor Moon podcast that I do. It's called Love and Justice. If you look up Love and Justice in the iTunes store, it should be the first thing that comes up.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as ATorres890. That's ATORRES 890.
And also, if you're in Los Angeles, February 4th, come see me at the Comedy Store. I'll be there at 7:30. So I will be there. And where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JAERAELE.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely hope to see you next week as well. And next week, we're really excited. It's going to be Alice in Wonderland theme. So yeah, we're going to check us out all day.
Will Katniss Everdeen make an appearance again?
I hope so.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.